Hi, Graham Vincent, Violinmaker, musician. Centre joint on the front, a fairly simple joint. It's just a straight joint between two pieces of wood. I'm starting off with a book matched front, fairly standard. I think you would have seen one of these. A lot of people you see them planing and measuring and using squares and checking everything's square and what have you. Personally, I don't bother with any of that, and let me just explain very briefly why not. It's just to do with complementary angles. Basically, if you imagine two pieces of wood, put them in the vise side by side, plane them, it really doesn't matter what angle you plane them at. Let me use a pair of scissors. I exaggerate, but basically, let's imagine I planed them some way off square. Of course, when you turn them around to join them, those two angles add up to 180 basically. So if you plane them both at the same time, there's little point in measuring whether they're square or not. I mean, you'll get them pretty square, I would hope. So my lovely old rosewood handled number 7 plane, built sometime between 1932 and 1939, so possibly 90 years old now. Jointing plane, one of the few planes you don't use wax on because you don't really want any trace of wax on glue joints like this. A few decent shavings to start with, and now set the plane a lot finer. If I put my glasses, let's try that. That should do it. Now, I don't want to teach Granny how to suck eggs, but basically, to get a really good, straight, true joint, when you put the plane on, before you start planing, you should be pressing down on the front, and as the plane is leaving, you should be pressing down on the back. So there's no tendency for the plane to start to do this or that effectively. That's the best way to create a nice straight joint. So with, what was that, 3 or 4 passes, I hope that should do it. Now I can't, with this camera setup, I'm not going to be able to show you, but basically that's a perfect joint. And like I was saying, because you've done them side by side and not as individual pieces, that's perfectly flat as well. So this time one of them goes back in the vise. I'm using hide glue, so always with hide glue it's worth just having a quick dry run of what you're going to do. With this I'm doing a rub joint, so I'm going to put this down and push it forwards and backwards, and because it will kind of go and stick, it's best as you do the rub joint to sort of make sure that you're not swinging it across sideways or by having your fingers, well I tend to have a thumb and finger on each end running over the joint so that I know I've got it in the right place, and I'll do that and then it will suddenly stick, and at that point leave it. So let's do it. It's quite cold in here. In an ideal world I would just heat this up, but I'm not going to today, so let's just make sure we do this quickly. Are we ready? Let's go. You don't have much open time this time of year with hide glue. It's stuck. I know the position is good because I can feel the joint front and back on both ends. I'm just keeping a little bit of pressure on it just for a second. Yep, the glue has gelled. I will now take this out of the vise and I will carefully lean it up against something so there's not much strain on the joint, and 24 hours from now I'll come back and that will be done. That's it. Look after yourselves. Cheers folks, bye.